Hey everybody, this is Lee Gerstmann and with me is Charles Traynor on the holiday special show where we are both equal co-hosts for only this show. How are you doing, Charles?
Only this one? I mean, before that, it was like, I'm doing great, by the way, Lee.
Oh,
Before
cool.
it was, we would keep rotating where it was like kind of my show and then it's your show, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
so yeah.
Well, actually, this is a fan request. That's right, folks. We have fans here on the Lee Gerstmann show. This is show. It's not my show.
Yeah.
And Anani had requested us to review the Beach Boys Christmas album, correctly?
Yeah.
Right. And little did myself or the fan know, allegedly, this album means a lot to Lee Gerstmann, correct?
Well, yes.
Okay, well, let's let the folks at home know about this. And then come back to me and I'm going to tell you about Christmas music in general.
All right,
Go
well,
ahead, Lee.
first I will tell you that when it comes to doing Christmas albums, this is really the only one that I would do. And also, it's the only one that I would have done regardless of the season, because it's an interesting album, and I feel that especially during times when I would drink, I like the Beach Boys music quite a bit, and this album is kind of like sort of like, I think, an unintentional, in some ways, concept album where they give a little bit of their attitude on Christmas on some of the songs, and then on some of the others, it depends upon whether or not one wants to think that they're singing tongue in cheek or not. But I think that it's an
Lee,
interesting thing.
Now, Lee, can I ask a question? You're freezing your baguettes off there in New York City right now. I'm hearing about it all the time.
It's popsicle land right now.
Right, but you're originally a California guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Beach Boys, I'll let you go back into your Beach Boys and talk and all that, but I lived a little bit in California, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we've reviewed some Beach Boys stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
And my point of view is when I hear anything Beach Boys, I think California. Is that fair? Like it's almost like the sound of California.
Yeah, I guess, but like with me,
like in a stereotypical way, kind of.
And kind of, but for me,
kind of.
For me, it's more like
I don't mean that as a knock, by the way.
No.
Saying,
but I'm thinking it's more like well for me it would be like if I'm listening to a blues artist from the Mississippi Delta, I'm not necessarily thinking of the Mississippi Delta. I'm just liking the songs even though I know that they're from there. And that's more of the case for me because they were from Los Angeles, which I'd been to, but I found that the difference between Los Angeles and Marin County, in California, there's a lot of lot of petty stuff. It's like Fairfax and San Selmo, which are just right next to each other. People will talk about the differences there because there's more trees in San Anselmo.
To be fair, when I lived in California, I lived in San Diego, which some folks say is Mexico and not Southern California. I don't know about that. But I was just curious if maybe it was a California thing with the Beach Boys. And by the way, I've been more positive than negative about the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
When we reviewed them. But anyway, into your history of this album.
Yeah, but no, I'll just say quickly, it's just it's more like I get over the fact that they're singing about surfing and stuff, and I just like the songs.
That's the good shit.
Yeah, but
Oh,
anyway, yeah. So that's
yeah.
all. Is that
Well,
it's considered to be an interesting classic album.
but when did you hear this first?
I don't know when I first heard it. I had heard of it, and then I had maybe heard a few songs here and there, like on the radio and stuff, but I probably
Ball,
was at home
ballpark.
about like
Yeah.
maybe 10 or so years ago when I first actually heard the whole album.
Oh, okay. Ballpark. Yeah, yes. Around 10 years old.
No, 10 years. I'm no 10 years ago. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
10
yeah.
years ago. Oh.
Yeah. No. I first heard, well, it was a Pickwick version, but I first had Surfer Girl when I was about 7. So difference.
Yeah. But I meant this record in
Yeah,
particular.
yeah. But
Like,
I had heard of it back then. I just didn't hear the whole. I just didn't
right.
hear it.
No, I get it. Well, let's segue to my thing about Christmas rock music and blah blah
Uh
blah
huh.
blah. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, and the rock radio station on Christmas Day would typically play, John Lennon, Happy Christmas, War is Over, before he got wore out.
Yeah.
Like today I could never hear that song again, and I would
Yeah.
be happy. But back then it was kind of a Christmas thing. And also, Bruce Springsteen,
Oh my
Santa Claus is
word.
Coming to Town live. Remember that one?
I didn't even think about whether it was live or not. I just thought, when is it going to stop?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I'm like, what's your stance on Bruce Springsteen, Lee? I didn't know. I'm kind of like not big, huge Bruce Springsteen fan. I like a few things, but not all.
Yeah, the very first time I heard him, I liked him a lot, and then the second time I heard him, I didn't like him quite as much. But the
Okay.
stuff that I did like a lot, I still do like a lot, but I don't like
Well,
everything. But
I got you.
there is one album that I think is great, and that's the album that people will probably think that I wouldn't like, but it's the one that I do. And there's another one that I think is pretty cool. But for the most part, there's some stuff he does that I would only
Look,
listen to if I need to fall asleep.
with Springsteen, I have a personal reason why I'm not a huge fan,
Hmm.
but I do like a few things here and
All
there.
right.
He was a good songwriter.
All right.
And I do like his Santa Claus is Coming to Town version for some reason.
Uh,
Maybe it's nostalgia.
I mean,
Probably.
I won't run out of the room if it's
No,
on,
but
but I would look at my watch.
what? There you go. But me as a person, having physically owned physical media of Christmas music, I think the only Christmas record I ever had was the Chipmunks.
Oh,
So, yeah, and you always said you would review this. So I guess the Chipmunks is a no-go, even though the Chipmunks, the Christmas song, is a classic.
well, we'll see what
Uh,
happens next decade.
next
But
Christmas, yeah, or decade or 2
but
decades, when we're no longer on this planet. But,
but I will say stuff like Time Life, Christmas stuff. I would listen to that because that has
well,
all the old
Chipmunks,
squares.
but also on MTV, they always would show David Bowie and Bing Crosby doing the little drummer boy
Oh, geez,
around
I
that
don't like that
time,
crap.
and I, in the end, I'm very hit and miss on Christmas music. I did do a bit of choir singing in my youth,
Yeah.
and there are some Christmas songs that I do enjoy and hold to my heart. One or two is on this record, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I'm usually like fuck Christmas music. Not because I hate it, but I don't know. Like, I've heard it so much in my life.
I think it's
And
just because people
burn
ordinarily
out.
feel they need to hear it on Christmas. So I feel the context of it isn't because of the music. It's because of the
Right.
season. And so
And
that kind of spoils it for me a little bit.
right. And I've heard these songs over and over and over again by multiple different people, sing them myself, probably played them on guitar, all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
However, being the Beach Boys are the Beach Boys, and as much as I want to hate on the Beach Boys, I really can't. I really just can't.
Yeah.
I think I got Lee Gerstmann do Pet Sounds, one of the greatest albums of all time. And I got them to say some nice things occasionally.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. It's not just the surfing safari with this group. Brian Wilson,
Yeah, all right. I know that.
Brian Wilson is a freak of fucking nature, a force of nature as a producer, which we'll get into on this record for sure. And I get the whole, the Beach Boys are a little, but
Yeah.
I've enjoyed more Beach Boys music than I haven't.
Yeah.
By far, even though I have to be in moods to listen to the Beach Boys.
All
Does
right.
that make sense to you, Lee?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't listen to the Beach Boys all the time.
Yeah,
I'm getting kind of burnt out on this sound.
Well, I usually listen to them when I'm drinking, so it depends upon when I want to put the bottle to my lips. But when I do, I'm totally fine with hearing them.
Okay, but as far as an American rock group, which I've always said, I think English rock groups kick the majority of American rock groups' asses, but we do better on solo artists. As far, English solo artists are usually shit. But, England's got Rolling Stones, Beatles, Led Zeppelin, blah, 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 blah. And we have Elvis, Michael Jackson, Prince, etc. The Beach Boys are kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
Where it's a group. And they do have some good stuff. Not just Kokomo, which was horrible. But, so
I mean, I'm okay with music. I'm okay with Kokomo, but I don't feel the need to hear anything else from that album. I mean, as a one-time song, if I heard them played in Great America, I wouldn't throw up my popcorn. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, well, yeah, at an amusement park, maybe. But, no, they have way better than Kokomo. And, but the Christmas album, it was done in 1964. And while we do the review, I'll throw some tidbits. That's what I do here on the Lee Gerstmann and the Little Guy show. And we'll get into that. And I also listen to it only in mono, which I recommend to the planet. Only listen to it that way. All right, Lee, go ahead.
All right, do you want to start or me?
You go ahead.
Okay. The first song on Beach Boys' Christmas album is Little Saint Nick. Okay. This is a fun song that is reminiscent of stuff like Little Deuce Coupe. I like the context of the Christmas spirit, and I can even listen to it outside of Christmas, and it's a cool song on a cool album. What do you think?
Well, first off, impressively, an original Christmas song. I was really expecting a covers album completely. I never heard this album at all. This is why I asked Lee, like, when you heard it. So I thought this was one from your youth or something, but
it was as far as hearing it. And no, as far as knowing of it.
I never heard a song because when I listened to this, nothing rang a bell. Mm-hmm. So I never heard any of this. So yeah, I thought it would be just covers, and it wasn't. And so whatever. But we will get into some later in the record, for sure. But here, right now, we get an original song credited to Love and Wilson. I wonder if maybe Mike Love got this from the lawsuit. I'm not sure. But this one has a nice vibe to it. It starts off with some quite bitchin' little piano section that it sets the table nicely. And of course, we do get those typical lush vocal harmonies that the Beach Boys are known for. And as I could find, they apparently only did vocals on this record. No instrumentation at all, completely. Which is interesting. There's absolutely nothing to fault with this song. Very positive vibes. Nice little Christmas song here. I liked it.
Right on. Okay, what do you think of The Man with All the Toys?
Another Love Wilson song. And we get co-lead vocals from Mike Love and Brian Wilson. It's an ode to old Saint Nick. For those of those that are into that, I was. More lush vocal harmonizing here. But for some reason, while this isn't the worst song I've heard in my life, in comparison to the opener, this doesn't seem as quite as enjoyable to me. I really don't like that parts vocally. I can't listen to it, people. You know what I'm talking about. And being that it is a critique. It is what it is. I just don't like that. I can say if this was on a Christmas playlist, I wouldn't skip it, but it's time to go dip up some old eggnog at that time. Go ahead, Lee.
All right, yeah. I like the nutty falsetto voice in the repetitive shouting and in the song, and I like the song itself. It's kind of like it's sort of odd garage rock type of Christmas time stuff, and I think it's really cool. Okay, now for Santa's Beard. This is a fun tune with a slightly bittersweet message to it, and I think it's one of the better songs on the album. What do you think?
We're still on the Mike Love, Brian Wilson co-written songs, which I find odd. And this one is a bit more prototypical Beach Boys versus the previous, The Man with All the Toys. Vocally, has at times a bit of a barbershop quartet feel, which has to be, of course, an influence on the Beach Boys to begin with. So I don't mean that as a knock. Other people will knock them for that. I don't mean it. I like me a little barbershop quartet, actually. Also, as you mentioned, you listened to it, and so did I. I listened to the mono mix, and it sounds fantastic. And I will always recommend mono mixes to begin with in listening to early 60s music, as that's how it's meant to be heard. And for the song, I found this one to be better than that Man with All the Toys shit. This is the sit back down with the eggnog and enjoy moment. So I really like Santa's Beard. There you go.
All right. What do you think of Merry Christmas, Baby?
Mike Love, man, he's the lead vocalist, and he's been all over this record to this point, which is fine. That's no problem for me in that regard. The band, or rather plethora of musicians used on this has been fantastic this far, and I'd be remiss not to mention that. The drums are great on this one in particular. So shout out to the late Jack Sperling, who did the drumming here. Excellent drumming. The sounds on this, in general, are great. And another real cool song here. For me, so far, the best all around thus far, musically and vocally. I liked it a real lot.
All right. I put another really good song that I like. And the message, again, is somewhat bittersweet. And I think that it gives a fun twist with... is this Santa's Beard we're talking about? Or
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a fun tune with a slightly bittersweet message to it, and I think it's one of the better songs on the album.
We agree.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Now for Merry Christmas, Baby. Okay.
Uh.
What?
Oh yeah, go ahead. My
Yeah.
bad.
All right.
See, that's why I'm not the host, folks.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, baby.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Another
No,
real.
we just did that. We just
Oh,
did
oh,
it.
oh.
That's
Well,
what
well.
we
Then
did.
I just talked about Santa's beard. Well, then I'll talk about
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas,
baby.
Baby. Okay.
Yeah.
Another really good song that I like, and the message again is somewhat bittersweet, and I think that it gives a fun twist with the more
It's the
upbeat
same thing
music.
you
It's
said.
a nice song.
It's the same thing you said.
I
He's
know.
good, folks.
All right.
Get your little vodka, Lee. We're on to Christmas Day.
All right. Later, after this, I might sip some for the next review, but for now, I don't want to get up. Anyway, the next song is
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. Okay. This has a cool rock and roll sound to it that I dig. And it sounds a little bit like maybe Jimmy Smith is on organ, which I don't think is exactly so, but it's fun to think about. This is another really good song. What do you think?
The first Brian Wilson composition on his own without Mike Love.
Huh.
And Al Jardine steps up to the lead vocals on this song.
Huh.
And I actually get a feel to the Beatles song All My Loving as far as the guitar work.
Huh.
But it does have a pretty early psychedelic sounding organ solo to my ears. So whoever the hell played it that you said, big love to him. This one is okay, but I'm not sure I'm a huge Al Jardine fan.
Huh.
Maybe they should have had Carl Wilson sing this one. And this one has a bit of a filler feel to me. So I would have went back to the Eggnog Bowl during Christmas Day.
Okay. What do you think of Frosty the Snowman?
Our first traditional Christmas cover here. Lots of orchestra on this one. Which, interestingly, Brian Wilson had Dick Reynolds of the Four Freshmen handle the arrangements. We're going to do a Four Freshmen album.
Yeah, I had thought about that, but I didn't say it.
Yeah. He had him handle the arrangements for all the orchestration. And boy, there's a lot of it. It has a 60s TV theme feel a bit. Brian Wilson tackles the lead vocals. And so, sure, it's Frosty the Snowman. What's the hate? The thing I noted when I listened to this is how many of the lyrics I really didn't know. And I'd say it's safe to say I'm not alone there. It's a good version, but this would be working on the kitchen on the turkey and conversation type of music.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a showstopper, but certainly pleasant all the same.
Okay, yeah, I can see the point of this being on the album, and it doesn't ruin the flow any, but it's more of a concession as opposed to fitting the complete concept of what's going on. And I always liked the cartoon, and the song reminds me of the cartoon, so it's okay. All right. Now for We Three Kings of Orient Are. Okay, this one fits the concept a little bit more, but it's somewhat slow and of that sort of time life Christmas music type of sound, which actually does fit and is interesting in context with the other songs, but it's also another song that I wouldn't necessarily think of as being my favorite on here. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to have to be a contrarian, I guess, because we get the ye old traditional Christmas carol here. And this song is credited as the Beach Boys on lead vocal. Not one person, just as a harmony. So it's completely harmonized. And this is the best one I've heard thus far. This is side 2 opener. And I would probably start, folks, if you're going to listen to this record, start with side 2, then flip it over. I'm thinking side 2 is a little bit much better. The orchestration is lush, and brilliantly played. The vocals are absolutely fantastic. And Brian Wilson, and I think I may have said it before on some Beach Boys review before, but he has to be one of the most underrated producers of popular music. He produced this album. And the production is awesome. I'm going to say with him and Jimmy Page, two of the most underrated producers ever. This is excellent. Best song on the album.
All right. Well, what do you think of Blue Christmas?
Interesting choice here, due to this being one of the famous Elvis Christmas songs. So it's pretty cool to cover this. And Brian Wilson sings this one solo, no harmonizing, nothing. This one is a bit more melancholic, but yet less bluesy as far as the instrumentation than the Elvis version because of that orchestration. The very slight echo in the vocals are a great production touch. I do like the flow to this quite a bit, but I will stop short of saying I like it better than the Elvis version. But that's because of style choices, I guess. I mean, this is pretty good on its own merit, and I wouldn't skip it, but it's good, but I would personally rather hear the Elvis version.
Okay. I like the idea of this song on here, and I even like the idea of a non-rock version, even though I would prefer to hear a more rocking version. But it's still all right, and I don't mind hearing it. Okay.
Yeah. So, again, we agree, folks.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yeah. Or not. Yeah, you can remember that we agree, but I don't necessarily need it to be all over the newspapers.
Yeah, no, you gotta be better. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, next song, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Okay, this one has a little bit more of a jazzy kind of feeling to it, so I kind of dig it, and I think it's a pretty cool song. What do you think?
We're back with the 60s TV theme song sound, which, it does have a certain type of charm to it, I guess, if you like that kind of shit. Brian Wilson and Love are the co-lead vocalists here, and they do a good job here, but the orchestration is a bit too schmaltzy for me. Hard to put a finger on it, but I do have to say, like I mentioned earlier, I would have added the Bruce Springsteen live version instead of this on my Christmas playlist, mainly due to that fucking orchestration, which is just really not my style. But overall, it is a decent version, but not for me.
Okay. What do you think of White Christmas?
If I had a list of my favorite Christmas songs, this Irving Berlin classic is right up there for me. So pretty much, there's no way the Beach Boys could ruin this. And I'm happy to report they didn't. And also, the orchestration is a bit more understated here. Yay. So it wasn't overbearing. And it matches the song perfectly. Fantastic song, check. Great vocalist, check. And orchestration, more to my liking, check. So this was a great version of this, and this is one to sit in front of the fire and relax with your eggnog and enjoy the holiday type song. A very good version there.
All right. I put, this doesn't ruin the album any, and I do like the song, but by this point I feel it's slightly imbalanced with more of the ballads than the rocking tunes, which is okay. And I wouldn't skip the song, but I'm starting to see an imbalance happen. All right. Now
an imbalance with 2 more songs? Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, now for I'll Be Home for Christmas. Okay. Of the crooner ballad type of tunes on here, this is one of the better ones, and I dig it, and I think it's quite a good rendition of the song. What do you think?
it's going to just turn it. Well, I'll tell you what I think. This is going to turn into the last song versus this song, pretty much, because there's one more after this. I mean, it was made famous by Bing Crosby, and I'm pretty sure it's a guy that rubbed off on Brian Wilson a bit. We took on the lead vocals here. And it seems, well, another weird thing on the record, Lee, is Brian Wilson did most of the lead vocals on side 2 and Mike Love on first. Go back and check that out if you didn't know it. So the orchestration is, again, more my thing. Not that Gidget theme song type sound or whatever they were doing. A Christmas song that isn't one of my go-tos, but it is a classic song, and they do yet again a nice version here. I mean, it's a nice version of a song that I don't care for. Okay.
Yeah, I like the song, but anyway, now we're Auld Lang Syne. What do you think of that one?
Oh yes, the New Year's song that most people don't know the words to, and I certainly don't. Interestingly, we get a talk over from Denny. And I never knew Dennis Wilson went by that, but hey, who knew? Interesting touch. You have one of the Beach Boys to just say thanks for buying this and have a nice Christmas. Now this version should just be played every New Year's Eve. And all the drunks who don't know what they are singing should just play this. And overall, as far as this album, it's a fun listen. And ending here with this song is an interesting way to end it. Overall, a pretty little cool Christmas album overall. Yeah. I did enjoy the album for the most part. Should have got a Carl Wilson vocal, but that's okay. Go ahead.
I put, even though it's an a cappella tune and probably meant to be filler, this is actually one of my favorite songs on the album. And I think they do it well, and it gives me a good feeling to hear it. So it concludes on a good note. Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay, but I would have liked a Carl Wilson over Al Jardine. What about you, Lee?
Well, I saw Brian Wilson live, and Al Jardine was there. So, I'm not going to whisper to the person next to me, I wish Carl Wilson was there instead. I'm just going to enjoy the show.
The man that sang God Only Knows, the greatest ever Beach Boys song. We don't need to hear it.
Yeah, not their best, but you like it, so that's good.
You liked it too. Go back,
but not their best.
Okay. Either way, we did the Beach Boys Christmas, Lee.
Yeah, we did.
On December 23rd. We were going to do it yesterday or tomorrow on Christmas Eve, but I got things to do. Lee will have things to do. So this is your Christmas present to the world on the Lee Gerstmann Show, the Beach Boys Christmas album. And for me, to anybody that would be listening, Merry Christmas, Happy Kimble, New Year's, and I would recommend overall listen to this album. Overall,
yeah.
We got to say, Lee, to say bye.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be drinking for the next review. But hey,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Without knowing what it is, I'm getting to that point where even though it probably will screw up my stomach, I'll do it. I'll do it for you, Pappy.
Yeah.
All right.
Stomachs only come and go once.
Yeah.
But overall, you do enjoy this Beach Boys Christmas album, right?
Yes, and even the songs that I didn't care for too much are much better than a lot of albums that I heard, some of which we might be reviewing.
No.
Anyway,
Oh. Well, it ain't Herndon.
Yeah.
That.
And with one of the albums that we'll be doing, even though I'm saying that about that album, I would still rather hear that than maybe another one, which we're going to be doing. and I
But
don't want to
but
say what.
but on the positive side, you don't want to say what. But like I've said many times, that we've done these weird,
Uh,
wacky groups and stuff. Nobody else
uh,
is reviewing you,
yeah,
so you're welcome. At least there's a digital record on YouTube that somebody reviewed your nonsense. So we will do it on the Lee Gersman
yeah,
and the little guy show.
yeah,
But
yeah. There's one of these albums that, if I'm not mistaken, we're probably going to have a bit of um,
this is what's fucked up, folks.
of a difference of
But
opinion in a way
but this is
that would bug me. But
but
we'll find out.
well, I mean, bug you is kind of irrelevant. But
Well,
folks,
no, it's the main
folks,
thing.
Lee Lee has a definite better knowledge of all these obscure groups. I have to go out of my way and find this shit. And once in a blue moon, I'll shock him.
Yeah,
But he's got me beat on that. But today we did not. It's the Beach Boys Christmas. There's
yeah,
only a couple. Go do your eggnog zip up songs. So overall, it's pretty good. Not
yeah,
quite as good as the Chipmunks Christmas album, but that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Wait a minute. The Chipmunks Christmas song is one of the greatest Christmas songs of all time.
I don't even think I've even heard it.
Me, I want my hula hoop. But that I didn't get to say that. I've only owned the Chipmunks Christmas album, and outside of that, it would just be like John Lennon, "Happy Christmas, War is Over" on John Lennon compilations and stuff like that. But I don't go out of my way to buy Christmas music.
I know
But
someone who actually had a CD of Christmas music where it was only dogs barking and cats meowing, going,
I had that too.
"Oh,
Yeah, I
jeez,"
remember that. I had that.
and
Where they barked, roof, 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 roof,
and then
roof,
it's
roof, roof. Yes, I did have
that would
that.
make me smash something.
I had that. I was gifted that by my aunt. So I did
Oh,
have that.
jeez.
But as far as like personally going out and having stuff, I mean, Christmas music, I'm really hit and miss on. I don't hate it, but it can get on my nerves at the same time if it's weird. But this one, no, the Beatles' Christmas Time Is Here Again is better than any song in this album. But, because the Beatles were better than the Beach Boys, but this was a decent album to listen to. There
Yeah,
you go.
I prefer it over that song, but I don't dislike that Beatles song if I hear it once a year.
That's all you
Okay,
need to hear it.
yeah,
And all four of them sung. And that's what rules.
yeah,
So, but for everything I've heard about this, and you only heard it 10 years ago, I'm amazed. I just heard it the first time ever. No songs of this, I promise you, I never heard. And it was a good listen. But whatever. Anyway,
yeah.
to the folks
Okay,
listening to the Lee Gersman Show
all right,
and the little guy,
all right.
Merry
Take care.
Christmas, Happy New Year's, Merry Crimble. May you have a great year. Lee, sign us off as you do always.
Okay,
Oh, fine, sir.
bye bye.